I'm not gonna lie, for a half second there, I was about to do my YouTube channel intro. That's where we're at right now. This is the 30th episode of the Running My Mouth podcast, the Big 3-0. I am your truly exhausted host, Aaron, and allow me to run my mouth for a little bit. And yeah, I'm tired. I'm just tired. I want to take a nap. And it's Sunday. I could have taken a nap today. I didn't because I had things to do. Also, before I continue, I know that I've worn this Death Grip shirt in the last 2 episodes of the podcast. I kind of don't care at this point. I don't feel like changing shirts, so I'm not gonna. But I've realized that in the last episode, and then the episode before that, I was wearing this exact same shirt. I don't know what to say. It's a nice, comfy shirt. It's a little oversized. I like wearing it on the weekends to do errands because it's comfy. I don't need to explain myself, and I'm not going to. Anyway, out the box combative for no reason. Anyway, yeah, this is the 30th episode. 30 episodes. I've been doing this podcast pretty consistently for over a year now. I think it's been. I started last May or something like that. And for this episode, what I wanted to do was go back and look at my first, well, not my first episode, because I'm not gonna lie, my first episode, low-key, kind of boring. It's fine. We learn and we grow. But my first episode where I talk about going to my first punk show, because I'm not 100% sure, but I'm pretty sure that was roughly a year ago now, except maybe that was in like July or something like that. I'm not sure. I am about to look, however. So give me a minute as I look for this video. The title of the episode I do remember, however. It's called Headbanging to Uncle Punk. And let's see. I just don't know when I put it out. Let's see here. What episode? I think it was like episode 4 or something. No, it was episode 7. And it wasn't a year ago. It was only 10 months ago. But if I do this, can I see? No, I can't. Alright, I don't want this to start playing. I just want to know when this was uploaded. That's it. That is all. August 9th of last year. Which I feel like my first show was before that, but I don't know. Either way, I bring up this episode specifically because it kind of ties into what I'm going to talk about today in this today's episode. This week's episode, this half of a month's episode. Because, thinking about it, it's really weird because a lot has changed for me in like a year. Because thinking about just my overall everything, like this time last year was definitely very different from this time this year. I think in a good way, I guess. Not that last year was different in a good way. I think this year is different in a good way because I don't want to like belabor any points because I've written about this at length on jacksonunderground.com. You can read all about it in the article titled Searching for Burning Windsor and Finding Myself Instead, where I kind of go into how not great last year was for me. But I thought last year was going to turn out a lot different than it ended up turning out, and I had zero expectations for this year. And now that we are firmly, halfway through the year, I guess I can kind of talk about how different this last 6 months has been compared to the previous 6 months before that. And yeah, a lot can change in a year. I'm not gonna lie. And I think this half year's changes, again, have been for the better, but I don't know. It feels like a lot. That's all I'm gonna say. It feels like a lot. Not, again, necessarily in a bad way. It just feels like a lot is going on right now, just in general. But I can't remember if I talked about this on any former or previous rather episode. Um, I don't know if I talked about it at length. I talked about the situation leading up to it sort of vaguely, but I don't know if I actually talked about. Well, anyways, there's this Instagram account called Good Gigs Jackson, and that is where I very serendipitously stumbled upon, the very active underground music scene here, and how I was able to go to my first show last August, which I swear, I don't think that was August. I felt like that was like July. But I don't know. It's entirely possible that I'm misremembering things because I have a tendency to do that. Um, but this account was run by two people, and I interviewed those two people for I think it was like the second article on Jackson Underground was interviewing the, I guess, operators of Good Gigs Jackson, and they were the ones who were booking, not all, I should say, but a lot of the shows that I was going to at the time, and I mean, kind of still go to. Well, I will say this, now the landscape has kind of changed a little bit. There are a lot more people booking shows, which is a good thing. I think, having more than one person or more than one group, I guess, booking shows, especially around Jackson, I only see that as a good thing. I really only see that as a good thing. Um, but I think back then it really was just like, good gigs and like maybe a scattering of shows that were booked by someone else. And so I think it was about a month ago now. I'm pretty sure it was a month ago. I think all this transpired a month ago. The actual situation, which I talked about 2 episodes ago, is really not important. But eventually, one of the people who runs Good Gigs, who is watching this, by the way, hello, Riggs. I know you're watching, because you told me you do. And if you aren't, well, then you're not going to see this, so it doesn't matter. Shout out, Riggs. He moved away, as you do throughout life. It takes you places that aren't the same place that you were previously. And as such, there was an opening within Good Gigs, which I was like, oh man, at the time I was thinking, well, I hope, they kind of recover from this because, I think for the most part, Riggs was the one that was booking a lot of the metal shows that Good Gigs did, a lot of the ones that I would go to. And he can corroborate that if he wants to. So I was like, oh man, but at the time I knew that there were other people booking shows. So I was like, okay, well, things will probably be fine. And so one night, I think it was maybe like the day after he announced that he was like moving away, he DMs me, he's like, oh my goodness, wouldn't it be like so cool? Like you should, help Lucy, the other person, out with Good Gigs. And I was like, haha, that's funny. I don't think I'm suited for that, but I'm glad that you have the faith in me, I guess. I don't know if that would be the word or phrase to use, to want me to do that, but I don't think that's in the cards for me. And then I thought it was kind of left at that. And so a few more days passed by. I think maybe even like a week or something like that passes by. Or no, actually it was like it happened very close to one another. And so not long after, Riggs tells me, oh, you should join Good Gigs. I don't know if join would be the right word. You should something. I don't know. I can't think of the right word right now. But not long after that, I got a message from Lucy saying, oh, I would love to have you helping out with Good Gigs. And I was like, okay, I I kind of started doing Jackson Underground because I think it was 3 people had said that it would be like a good idea. And I was like, you know what? It might be a good idea. And it did end up being a good idea. However, not a lot of time has passed. But there's no room for it to be a bad idea, I don't think. But so far, me doing Jackson Underground has proven to be a good idea. And so now here are 2 people saying, oh, you should start booking shows. And I was like, okay, I don't know if I have the acumen for that kind of thing. But I mean, they convinced me. I was convinced. I'm easily suggestible, by the way. If that's not become clear by now, I am somewhat suggestible. So I was like, okay, I guess I'm doing it. And so now I'm doing it. Yeah, it's so weird. Like, this such a weird butterfly effect because this time last year, okay, maybe not this time last year, because I mean, if I guess my memory is just wrong. I think the reality is that the first show that I went to was in August. So this time last year, this wasn't even on my radar, but this time, like 10 months, oh God, I am popping this so bad. This time, like 10 months ago, let's say, this wouldn't have even been in my mind as something, number one, that was like an option, and number two, that I could like do, but I guess I am doing it. I will say though, however, for now, my primary role with Good Gigs is administrative and organizational. I'm just trying to keep things together and organized because it is a lot for one person. So I'm just trying to help Lucy out as best as I can. However, a few days ago, I get another DM from Riggs. And if Riggs will do one thing, it's DM me at like 10 o'clock at night when I'm in bed. So I didn't see it. I don't think I saw it until the next morning. But there's this show that just like fell in my lap that I guess I'm like booking now. So that was a very fast development from I'll just help out here and there when I can to I'm gonna book a show. So also something that I have learned, booking shows isn't really that involved of a process. I mean, there is like some stuff that goes into it, but it's not as much as I thought. So, I mean, honestly, it is easy. Well, I don't know if I would say it's easy. I can't even really say it's easy because I haven't even really done it, you know? So I don't know, but we'll see how easy or difficult it will be in the future. I don't know. I will say this though. I am going to try my very best to organize some fun shows here in Jackson. You know, I hope I will be able to do that. I'm not like doubting my abilities or anything like that, but also it's just like all of this is happening very fast. And honestly, if I am being honest, it is just a teeny weeny bit overwhelming. Just a little. Just like a scotch. So I'm just trying to take it step by step, that's it. That's all I can say. I'm taking it step by step. And, yeah. Again, it's probably something that is like not hard. And it again is probably something that I'm just overthinking because I do be overthinking, and someone can tell me if that's a Virgo trait or not. It doesn't really matter, but you can tell me if it's one. But yeah, that's where I am right now. That's what we're doing. We're booking shows, coming to a bakery near you, some sick metal bands, I hope. A bakery or a burger joint near you, or not near you if you're not in Jackson watching this. But yeah, step by step, 1 foot at a time, 1 foot at a time. That's how we walk, 1 foot at a time. We're not hopping, we're not penguins, we don't do 2 feet at a time. We don't have 4 feet, so we can't do 4 feet at a time. It's just 1 foot. 1 foot at a time. Anyways, yeah. So that's what I'm doing, I guess, which is, again, it's a lot. It's a lot, but I don't know. I think I'm really blowing this up in my head, and it's like not a big deal at all. So it's probably not a big deal at all. But it does kind of feel like it's a big deal, if I'm being honest. So yeah, that's that. Next topic. I've only got 3 things on this list, but I still wrote them down, which honestly it's supposed to be like 4 because I just remembered one like right now. But staying somewhat in the same realm, um, there have been some shows recently. In fact, there I'm thinking of like there was one week like a couple of months ago that was similar to this where there were like 5 shows in a row. But this past week, starting last Tuesday up until today, there's literally a show going on right now. I'm not there, obviously, but there have been 6 shows in like a week. Actually, no, that's not even 100% accurate because on a couple of nights, there have been more than one. So let me see. Hold on. I gotta consult the trusty calendar. So, okay, there's one on Tuesday, one on Wednesday, 2 on Thursday, one on Friday, and there's 3 on Saturday. And then there is one today. So there's been the Jackson music scene has been active this past week, let me tell you. And I have only gone to 1, 2, 3 of those shows out of however many I just listed, because I mean, for a couple of those days, it's physically impossible for me to be in more than one place. So I can only be at one. Um, Thursday, my good my my good Judy's in Measureless Aeons had a show. And of course, I mean, they're the band that started it all, pretty much. To be completely honest, they kind of are the band that started it all with all of this. Shout out to them, by the way. Shout out Ansley. Shout out Jack. Shout out Ethan. Shout out Brian. Big ups to y'all. Y'all are great. Yeah, they haven't done a show in like a little while. Actually, their last show was in May, and that was fun. And this show was fun. They had a couple of new songs. One of them was like brand new, and the other new-ish song was I think they had played it at like their previous 2 or 3 shows, something like that. So it wasn't like new, but it is still somewhat new. So it's always good to see Measureless Aeons, a band that I love. Stream Passages. It's on Bandcamp. It's on Spotify. It might be on Apple Music. I don't know. I don't use Apple Music, so I can't confirm or deny. And also, I don't know if they have any tapes left. I don't think they do. But I do have one. I think it might have been a limited run. And I'm not about to check, so you're just going to have to find out on your own if they have any merch left, because I don't know if they do. They were supported by a band called Roy, R-O-I. Just some young whippersnappers and a young whippersnapper band. And, there are a lot of, like, pretty young kids here. Well, I don't want to call them kids, because, I mean, they're teenagers / young adults. Which, to be completely honest, I may not act like it these days, but I am only 24, which is young to a lot of people. So, I am still somewhat the youth. I only got, let's see, I only have like 2 months left of being the youth. So I better enjoy it while I can. I don't know. We're not going to get into that. We're not going to get into like age politics. That's not something that I want to engage in at all. Not today. Certainly not today. Anywho, band of young whippersnappers, they're really good. But also, I don't know if this is every show that they've done this at, because I've only seen them twice. But at the end, during the final song of their set, the guitarist, whose name I am forgetting, but names are something that I forget, so yeah. He'll, like, pull the strings out of the guitar, which I don't know if that breaks them. I don't think it does. I would hope not, because having to restring your guitar for every show, that feels like a lot. I don't know how much guitar strings cost. I would guess out of all of the gear for and surrounding a guitar, they'd probably be obviously more expensive than guitar picks, because those are basically consumable, but not as expensive as, like, I don't know how that works. I don't know if they break, but it is certainly a nice little sprinkle on there. Good stage presence, I like that the children have good stage presence, so that is something that I can appreciate. And then Mostly Satire, who is another young whippersnapper band. that I can appreciate. They have two singles out. One is called Frankenstein. That I know for sure. The other one came out very recently, and I do not know the name of it, but they're really good. And I enjoy seeing them. And they've been busy. I think this was. Let me see. This might have been. No. This is like their second show that week. And then they had, I believe, another show on Saturday. So these young whippersnappers, they've been busy. But it's the summer, so they have more time, I guess. I don't know. I miss having time in the summer, but I'm not a student or a school teacher, because those are the only people that get time off in the summer. And I don't even know if teachers fully get time off in the summer. They probably don't, to be completely honest. But being a teacher is hard. I'm not a teacher. I do not desire to be one. And I've never been one. But I can appreciate that their job is difficult and often thankless, which is why I did not desire to become one. So, yeah. Oh my god, this fly. I'm gonna die. It's bugging the crap out of me. Anyways. On Friday, I saw, oh my goodness, Clitter Critters, who I think I haven't seen since December. They don't perform very often. I think they've had one or two shows since literally December, but I didn't go to them. Or I think it might have been just one. But I do really like Clitter Critters. I was literally listening to the EP before I started recording. But yeah, they sound so good live. I like them a lot. I like Clitter Critters. And you should stream. They're really good. Another band called the Akashic 45s. They're also from Jackson. This show that I'm talking about, it's not all Jackson bands, but it's all Mississippi bands. But it was their first ever show, and in the band, they have a keytar, which you don't see those every day, when I think of keytar, the most prominent one that I can think of is, and I don't even know if this was a keytar actually, but which I haven't even seen the newest one, but okay, that's neither here nor there. So Lady Gaga, the Monster Ball. What song was it? Oh my gosh. Was it Fame? Fame, doing it for the fame. That one. Lots of money and endless fortune. That one. Where she comes out of the stage with like the big triangular, I think it was a keytar. I'm not sure though, because it was literally like conical shaped and also fixed to the ground. However, there probably was still a keytar at some point during that concert special, but the one that I remember specifically was that one, and I'm pretty sure that wasn't even a keytar. So I don't know. I'm gonna have to go back and watch. But speaking of the Monster Ball, now that the Chromatica Ball is on HBO Max, to be fair, I haven't checked. I haven't checked to see if the Monster Ball is touring anywhere. But considering the Monster Ball was a HBO special, it wasn't on HBO Max for the longest of times. But let me see. The Monster Ball special 2011. I don't think it's on streaming anywhere, which is crazy to me, especially for HBO. Let's see. I'm on IMDb right now. Is there somewhere for me to do? Usually it has like, watch on this streaming service type thing. It doesn't. So I think that's really lame. You could probably buy, I don't know, the DVD somewhere on eBay, perhaps. But who has a DVD player in 2024? I know a lot of people have Blu-ray players, but even then, that's a little like, okay, anyway. Back to what I was talking about, the Akashic 45s. They are somewhat new. They have a few songs out. I don't think I know this now. They have had a few songs out, but their first performance was this past Friday. And I will say it was very enjoyable. I love an unconventional instrument. I think that's also part of why I love the Jonathan Scales Orchestra so much, because you truly do not see anybody out here playing the steel drums. You don't really see a whole lot of people out here playing the guitar. Like, I want more music with unconventional instruments. And I'm not even talking about, like, like indigenous instruments or anything like that. Like, things that are specific to a certain culture. I'm talking about like some proper doohickeys. I want to see people making more music with some doohickeys, okay? Like, I would consider the guitar a doohickey, because who truly thought to strap a keyboard to yourself and play it like a guitar, right? You know, that's a doohickey. I don't know if people consider the automaton to be, it's the thing that's like shaped like a music note, and you like have to squeeze its little mouth to make it make noise. I don't know if people consider that to be like a proper instrument, but give me like live theremin performance. I want a waterphone, which I feel like those, maybe not a theremin, but maybe a waterphone. That's like, that feels like it belongs in an orchestra or something. But I just want more people playing doohickey instruments, because you will corner the market because nobody else is playing them. Who else is playing a guitar? At least around here, I'll say that much. Not a whole lot of people. I think you would be hard pressed to find somebody else playing a guitar in good old Jackson of Mississippi. I think it's cool. I liked it purely for the guitar, and also because the music was good. That helps as well. If you're making good music with an unconventional instrument, I think that's it's pretty dope. I'm trying to think of other like wacky instruments, but I truly can't think of any, any truly doohickey like instruments, like some real thingamabobs. Like, I don't know. I feel like most people who do stuff with synths, that's very doohickey adjacent, but I feel like that's not unconventional or rare enough to meet my criteria. So I'm gonna think about it a little bit more. But if you can think of any doohickey like instruments that are very unconventional, and if you're watching this on YouTube, leave a comment, I guess. And if you're watching this elsewhere, you'll have to go to, well, you won't be watching this elsewhere because you only watch it on YouTube. But if you're listening to this, first of all, if you're only listening to the audio version of the podcast, you already know what I'm about to say. If you're only listening to the audio version, you're only getting half the story. And also, we're going to have to go to YouTube and comment on it. What's a doohickey type instrument that you could see being brought to the mainstream? Because I do really want to know. Like, I don't know, what do you call it with the water in like the wine glasses? I don't know if that has a name. It probably does. But like that, I feel like could be interesting. But I don't know. That just feels scary to me. Because I get their wine glasses, but like, what if you just like cut yourself? I don't know. The edges aren't sharp though, so you wouldn't. But what if you did? That feels hazardous. Or was that Rob Scallon? I can't remember. The guy with all the weird guitars. Well, it's like a couple of them that do weird guitars, but I think it is specifically Rob Scallon who went to like wherever, some museum somewhere, and looked at oh my gosh, what's his name? I was gonna say Robert Pattinson. That's not him. I'm talking about the president, Benjamin Franklin. Why did I think of Robert Pattinson when I was trying to say Benjamin Franklin? That makes no sense. Anyways, Benjamin Franklin's like water bowl contraption, like something like that. Which that's I don't know. That's very, you can't really bring that on the road, because it was entirely made of glass. It would break. But if someone made like a modern version of that was like more sturdy and maybe more lightweight, but also would that change how it sounds? Probably. I don't know. I just want more people to play doohickeys. I love a doohickey. It's fun. They make fun noises. Anywho, those are the Akashic 45s. My phone is on 12%. I don't know what it is. I just can't keep my phone charged. It will charge, and it will stay charged. It's just that I'm on my phone all the time, because I'm a millennial. I'm not a millennial. Oh my god, why did I say that? I'm not a millennial. I'm Gen Z. And as you know, us Gen Zs, we're always on our phones. and it's always because we be on that phone. I'm a millennial, what? Anyways, another band at the show that I'm talking about called Horror Party. They were from the coast, came all the way up here, and I have learned in talking to one of the members that there's not really a scene on the coast, which I mean, that doesn't really surprise me, but I feel like there's a decent amount going on the coast that's not going on here. Like, for whatever reason, a lot of the movies that get shot in Mississippi are shot on the coast for some reason. I don't know what's going on down there, but I don't know. They have that at the very least. They don't really have a music scene. So they came all the way up here, and they came up here in a converted school bus, which, again, very cool if you're able to convert a school bus. I wasn't, messing around with tools when I was a kid, so I don't think I would know how to convert a tool bus. But does anyone really know how to convert a tool bus? Like, you learn it from somebody. Somebody's probably youtube.com. So, it probably doesn't matter that I don't know how to convert a tool bus, but a tool bus, a school bus, but, it was cool that they had one. Where's I even going with that? I don't know. I like their music. They were a fun band. They had great energy. And their guitarist, it's not really an unconventional instrument because it literally is just a normal guitar. But his guitar was not only leopard print, but I was taking pictures at the show. And when I sat back down to look at them, I saw that the leopard print was also reflective. And that's cool. I thought that was cool. Thankfully, it didn't ruin any of my shots because I did shoot with flash. If anything, it made them look interesting. And also, those pictures are up on my Instagram at JXN Underground, all one word, if you want to look at that. And also a bunch of other pictures that I've taken at shows. I haven't really been doing it recently, but I thought, why don't I get the old camera and bring it with me? And, the pictures, they turned out good. So, and of course, my faves, growing to be one of my faves, Hammer and the Tools. And because I put it here when I got back from the show, and I just didn't bother moving it to, like, my room or, like, a drawer or something, but I got a shirt. I have a shirt. I can't even tell. Okay, there you go. It's their album cover. Just so fun. Which I should really put that in a drawer because that's where clothes go and not on my couch. I'm not gonna lie, I'm having a lot of band shirts. That's like a lot of what I wear, and it occupies a lot of drawer space. I was thinking, I don't know if I'll ever end up doing this because I like wearing my shirts, so I don't know why I want to destroy them, but I feel like if ever I don't know. What I think would be cool, however, I don't know though, because I think I would still like wearing them. But I think sometime in the future, let's say 10 to 15 years down the line, at this point, I've probably, get off my freaking microphone, Spy. I think at this point, 10, 15 years, I would hope I have moved away from Jackson by then. And, I will have all of these shirts from all of these bands that I've seen while I've been here. And, perhaps I don't want to wear them anymore. Perhaps they're a little worn out. Something that I could do is take all of my band shirts and turn them into a quilt. And that's what my mom did with all of her work shirts when she retired from her job, which I thought was interesting. However, I don't know what kind of fabric this quiltist used. Quilter. They're called quilters, they're not quiltists, God. The quilter used, but we have a lot of blankets at our house, and that is, like, the scratchiest of the blankets. Like, I don't know, if I ever, and I will try to do it myself because, I have the skills. If I ever were to make a quilt out of all of my old band shirts, I would probably use a softer fabric than whatever that person used, because it's a decently sized quilt, because my mom had a lot of work shirts because she was working for, like, 20 years. 20 years at this specific place, but for much longer before that. Not to call her old or nothing, but, but yeah, it's just like a really scratchy fabric. It was a nice weighty quilt, but it was just itchy. It's just so itchy. Which, I mean, I guess it's for the better, because neither me or my brother tried to steal it to put it on our beds. So it's my mom's and she will keep it, but I think it would be really nice, and not to be macabre, because this is like, ooh, like, whoa, but let's just say, anything could happen. I'm not saying it will. I hope it doesn't. I really hope it doesn't. Like, I wouldn't want this to happen. But let's say I were to croak at some point in the near future. I think it would be cool if someone would take all of my band shirts that I have, which I do have a lot, and turn them into a quilt to give to my family. I think that would be cool. I think that would be dope. I know there are a lot of, I don't know why I'm getting into the morbid right now. This is so off topic too, by the way, but I don't know. I know there are a lot of things that people do with the clothing of their departed loved ones. They turn them into like teddy bears and like pillows and stuff like that, but I think a quilt would be pretty dope. But only if it can serve as a wall tapestry. Because, I don't know, that'd be a pretty big wall tapestry though. Well, anyways, I think it would be cool. However, something else to consider is that, band merch runs the gamut of like a lot of things, but especially for metal bands, and I guess also punk bands too, but, very traditional metal bands, they sell patches. And, typically you're supposed to affix them to a denim jacket. I do have a denim jacket, I just never wear it. And like, I don't know, maybe I should actually, now that I think about it, and make it a lot more fun to wear if it had patches on it. But I feel like, I literally only have one patch, so I don't have enough to put on there to like wear it places. Anywho, how I think it would be really cool. And, band patches, they can be like really small to like the full back pieces that go on the back of a denim jacket. I think it'd be really cool to get a bunch of patches and make that into a quilt. I think that'd be really fun. So, I guess I'm gonna try to collect patches now. I don't know. I'm just trying to go for all kinds of unconventional band merch, because, like, I already have tapes, right? And I have shirts. Shirts, I would say, are the more conventional, and then you have the tapes, and then stickers and pins, which are on my sticker and pin wall in my bedroom. But I think it would be cool to make, like, a patch quilt. Oh my gosh, hold on. I do want to look it up. I want to see if anyone's done this. They probably have. Metal band patch quilt. 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 I just want to see the pictures. Let's see. Let's see the images. Because, yeah, they're selling these on, like, Etsy. Except this doesn't look like a quilt. This looks like a tapestry. Because it has, like, the holes in it for you to hang it up. So I don't think that's what I would do. This one, it's got, like, I think these are shirts. These don't look like patches. These are shirts. These are not patches. Yeah, these are, like, shirt quilts. Like, people do the shirt quilts, like, pretty often. But I wanna see if people made it out of the patches, Let me see. Here are some. Let's see. Yeah, so this is like an option. So, in the future, if I do end up collecting enough patches to make it into a quilt, that would be really fun. And I would like that, because then it can keep me warm. And we all love that. But whenever I do end up doing that, I will have to pick a not scratchy fabric, because that would be annoying. Anyways, I didn't really talk about hammering tools. They're great. What can I say? That's all. And I got a shirt. And it's white. I don't have a lot of white, like, band shirts, which is good. Well, it's not good that I don't have a lot. It's good that I do. I have, I think, 3 now. One of them is technically, like, off-white, but it's not black, so there you go. And then there's my Death Row shirt, which is, like, blue. So I'm starting to expand my color range instead of just being black. But also, it's hot. It's hot, it's sunny. The sun is trying to kill all of us. But specifically me. It feels like the sun is trying to kill every time I step outside. I went grocery shopping this morning, 10 o'clock in the morning, right? Not as early, it was more like 10:30. Not as early as I would have wanted, especially on a Sunday, because then I have to, constantly bump into people at Walmart, which I friggin' hate. Anyways, but it's like 10:30 in the morning. I step outside. It's hot. I get in my car. It's hot. Look on the dashboard. The dash reads 89. It's 10:30 in the morning. Okay? This is too much. I can't take it. I really can't. They say people in the South, they're supposed to be built for the heat. I'm not. I don't know what coconut tree I fell out of, but apparently it was the wrong one, because it's too hot for me. I think it's too hot for everyone, though. However, it's kind of, well, it's not a good thing ecologically, but it's good because it's so hot that there aren't that many bugs out. It's like we've reached the hot limit for the bugs. I am still getting obliterated by mosquitoes. Like, my arms right now are a battleground, especially this one. I don't know what it is, but anytime I get bitten by a mosquito, I just, like, I don't know, I react really badly to it. I don't think I'm, like, allergic or anything like that. I don't have, like, severe reactions. It's just, like, my skin freaks out anytime I get bit by a mosquito, which is why I'm gonna try to limit my time outside, which, I mean, it's not like I was spending time outdoors anyway, but, now especially that it's mosquito season, I can't take it. I really can't. But anywho, at the show that was on Friday, I was at the merch table. I'm bending over because there's something right here that I would like to show you all. There's stuff on top of it. I was at the merch table and I saw that. Oh, my phone's on 11%. Anyways, I saw that. Well, I mean, these are always at Hammer and the Tool show because Zach of Hammer and the Tools, I forget which one he is, because they each have like tool names, but I forget which one they are. Like, every time. All I know is that Haley is the hammer, because that's alliterative, and I can remember that. Everyone else, poof, gone from my brain. Yeah, Zach makes zines, and I have like one other one that he has made, but I saw this one, and it kind of stuck out to me because it's a short story that he had written, and I read it yesterday. Was it yesterday? Yeah, yesterday was Saturday. I don't know. I have to think about that. I read it yesterday, and I was like, oh, this is fun. I like this. But then I thought about it. I got to thinking, and I was like, I could write something and print it out and just like distribute it. Like, that's an option for me. I have a printer, right? All I would need is like some decent paper, because right now all I have is copy paper, and that's not decent at all. But I wouldn't say that I know how to, like, I don't think typesetting is the right word, but like the act of arranging the text in a way that it's meant to be printed. I've never done that before, but I could certainly figure it out. All the margins and things like that. Which, I mean, if you think about it, this is just like paper. Like, these are just big sheets of paper. And I think, yeah, this is like 8.5 by 11. So all I would have to do is kind of arrange those and, fold it in half, staple it, that kind of thing. But that wouldn't be well, okay. I think I would need one of those like extra long staplers. Because if you're stapling in the middle, it's kind of hard to do that without one of those extra long staplers. So I'd have to get one of those. But like, I could write a short story and just like print it and just like distribute it, like at shows and stuff. I'd obviously have to ask, but that's an option. And I kind of want to do that. I kind of really want to do that, actually. So, why is this leaning so much? I don't know. Thoughts are cooking in my head, but that would also require me writing a short story, which I haven't done in quite some time. So all the things that I write are overwhelmingly long. So, I'm going to have to practice how to write short again. Just crazy. Because, I mean, if you think about it, stuff that I write at my job, it's like 30 seconds maximum. So it's like, I've got all these words pent up. So anytime it comes time for me to write, like, an article for Jackson Underground or, like, just anything, it's always so many words, because all the words are, like, pent up, and I gotta get the words out, because I can't get the words out at work. only have so many words at work. I have to get them out. Anyway, um, that's interesting. That's really interesting. Yeah, much to think about. I'll say that much. As for the other show that I went to this week, that was that one. The other show, it was a benefit show. Not only was it a benefit show, but it was also a birthday party for a puppy dog. So Lucy, who is, I guess now, this fly is getting on my nerves. It's been flying around this whole time and it's making me so mad. Okay. Lucy, who I guess is, I don't want to say my other half because no, but also, I don't know, the other half of Good Gigs, and I guess I am now one half of Good Gigs, which is a weird thing to think about, but moving on. She has a puppy dog. Her puppy dog is named Brisket. I have met him. He is a very good boy. He is very nice, and he is my friend, and his birthday was recently, and so she decided to throw a birthday party for him, but not just like any birthday party, obviously. It was for charity. And we ended up raising, I think it was $330 I saw earlier, for the Animal Rescue Fund, which is a shelter here in Jackson. Because, fun fact, well, okay, this isn't a fun fact at all, but the city of Jackson does not have an animal shelter, like at all. There was one and it closed because it was being horribly mismanaged. Another fact that is not fun, but Jackson also does not have animal control. I found this out the hard way a couple years ago when I first moved into this apartment, and I got a snake slithering its way into my apartment. It was so crazy. Like, it was literally like a couple of days after I had actually moved in. I was trying to get my Wi-Fi set up, and I had all my stuff, like the box and all the cables and stuff on the floor, and I was trying to find the right coax cable to screw the box into, because for whatever reason there's like 3 in this teeny tiny apartment and only one of them works. Now I don't know why the other 3 are still in there. That doesn't make any sense to me. Anyways, I was trying to figure out which one of them actually worked, and so I was sitting right over there because that's like my kind of sort of kitchen area. I was sitting over here screwing the box into the other coax cable, trying to see if it would work, and as it was like, blinking and cycling and doing its thing, and I'm waiting for it to like turn on or something like that, I look over towards my door, and I have all my cables on the floor, and so I see that one of my cables starts moving, and I'm like, why is one of my cables moving? Like, what's going on? And then I realize, oh, that's not one of the cables moving, that's a snake. So a snake slithered in through a crack between the door and the door frame, and it freaked me the heck out because I'm not gonna lie, I think snakes are cool. I don't like them in my house uninvited. I will go to the reptile section of a zoo and like look and wonder, it's like, whoa, this guy with no arms, like that's pretty cool. But a guy with no arms in my house? No, thank you. You were not invited. This isn't your house. Please leave. And so I kind of freaked out. I called my dad for some reason. I don't know why, but he told me to call 911, which honestly, I don't know. It feels like most situations don't warrant calling 911 because 911 is for emergencies. And I don't know if a snake in your house constitute as an emergency, because it wasn't like I was in any imminent danger or anything like that. It was a little tiny snake. It wasn't venomous. I believe it was a black king snake that I had seen. And it was a baby one because I've seen an adult black king snake and those things can get huge. So it was a little teeny tiny little guy. Teeny tiny little guy with no arms in my house. Slithering around. He's probably as confused as I am. I don't know if it was a guy, by the way. I don't know how to sex a snake. And I wasn't trying to sex that one. I wasn't trying to get anywhere near it. But I'm assuming it's a guy because only men have the audacity. But teeny tiny little guy with no arms in my house. My dad tells me you have to call 911. So I'm like, okay, I guess I'll call 911 because I don't have any other options. I'm not about to wrangle the snake, right? Because what if it bites me? Then I'm going to cry. So, we can't have that happening. So I call 911. Keep in mind, this happened, I think it was like 9:30 at night. I call them 9:30 at night. I say, hey, there's a snake in my house. Please send animal control. And they're like, okay, we'll send someone. The person on the phone was like really impatient for some reason. I don't know why. They're like, okay, yeah, we'll call someone to have them come out. And I think they ended up transferring me to them. And I explained the situation like, hey, I've got a snake in my house. Please come get it out. It's, I told them roughly how big it was, and that it's freaky. There's a friggin' snake in my house. This is creeping me out. And, I didn't want it to crawl into some crevice and then hide, and then now I'm not able, to get a snake out because I don't know where it went, and then perhaps in like a week there will be a dead snake in my house. Like, I didn't want that to happen. So basically, as this little guy with no arms is slithering around my house, I have to follow it around because I don't want to lose sight of it. But also, it's freaking me out because it's a little guy with no arms. I have not really observed snakes that much, but seeing a little guy with no arms move around, it's very uncanny. Like, it made me uncomfortable watching it move around, you know? And it's like, how are you doing that? This is scary. It's a scary experience seeing a little guy with no arms crawling around your house. How does it do that? I don't know. I don't know the mechanics of it, and I wasn't about to ask it because it could not tell me. So I just had to follow it around and make sure that it didn't crawl into some crevice and die in like a week, or that I didn't lose sight of it and then, I don't know, I wake up one morning and there's a snake on my face or something like that, you know? So eventually I'm following the snake around, or rather this little guy with no arms that I've been calling it, which is a weird thing to call a snake, I'm realizing, but I also don't care. I'm following this little guy with no arms around. We're doing laps around my apartment because, first of all, my apartment's not big, and also he was just as confused as I was, probably, and he was just trying to find his way out. And all the while, I'm following this guy around. I'm waiting for animal control, and animal control is not showing up. I keep calling, and they're like, yeah, we're on the way. And I'm like, okay, well, can ETA something, like, this snake is here. Please get him out, right? And it takes until, I think, about 11 o'clock that night. Eventually, the little guy with no arms, aka the snake, finds his way out of my apartment. He leaves the same way that he came in. And I'm like, okay, I've been following the snake around my house for over an hour, and animal control has not showed up. What is the deal with that? That's insane. Huh? What if it was like an actual, like, scary, like, aggressive snake that was, like, venomous? I would have died. So, that's not fun. But eventually he found his way out. I told my landlords to please plug up that hole, and they did. And so far, I've not had any more snakes or little guys with no arms in my house. But that is when I learned that Jackson, all of that to say, that's when I learned that Jackson has no animal control. And they also don't have an animal shelter. And all the animal shelters that are in town are privately owned and rely on donations. And one of those is the Animal Rescue Fund. And so that show, which was a birthday party for Mr. Brisket, raised about $330, and it was a fun show. The turnout could have been a little bit better, I will say, but also there were like two other things going on that night, so we were up against two other shows simultaneously happening. So you kind of have to get what you can, but either way, it was fun and I had a good time. I shall tell you the bands. Parrot Weather was the first one that went on, and they're a little bit more unconventional. I have not seen them before, and I think I literally just said that, but I'm pretty sure they follow me on Instagram or something like that. And yeah, it's really fun. Run by two brothers. Run by, can a band be run? The band members are two brothers, and they look very much alike. I don't know if they're twins. I don't think they are. They don't look alike enough to be twins. They look alike enough to be brothers, and they were. So that was fun. I did really like it, though. They had some synth stuff going on there, and that was a lot of fun. The other band was Weak Hearts, which again has they followed me. Yeah, they also follow me on Instagram, and also have just kind of I never seen them before either, but they're more of like a I don't want to say dad rock because that's not. I don't think that's accurate. I feel like dad rock is bland-ish, but they were not bland. They were very much not bland, like at all. They had flavor. They had the sauce. They had the juice. Okay, they were not dad rock, but it's the kind of rock that your dad might listen to. It was more psychedelic-y. I think that's why. It was giving kind of maybe 70s vibe, something like that. I don't know if that's accurate, but I liked listening to them and I thought that was fun. And the other band was Kicking, which I've seen Kicking feels like every other week now. These folks are so busy. I don't know how they do it, but they do. And they perform a lot, and I see them a lot, and I still like them, and I think they're a decent band. And yeah, that was yesterday. And like I said, there's another show going on today, but considering I'm here doing this, and also I'm just like so tired, there's no chance. I'm not going. However, later this week there are two shows, and one of them is in Jacksonville, the other one's in Vicksburg. And God, I do kind of want to go to Vicksburg. I'm like thinking about it. I'm considering going to Vicksburg for this other show. But it's this band called False Gods from New York. I don't know well, okay. They're metal adjacent. That I can surmise, but I haven't listened to any of their music. But they're coming to Jackson on Friday, and I'll be very excited to see them alongside Death Throws from a Star, which one of my favorite Mississippi bands by far. If I had to make a tier list, I wouldn't, because I love all of my children equally. I love all of my Jackson and Mississippi bands equally, and I would not think to rank them on a ranking scale like that, because no, I'm choosing not to. Anywho, that'll be fun when it happens. I've got a trip coming up in August. I'm going to Chicago, and I'm going to Chicago alone, which is going to be an experience, but also at the same time, thinking about it, I am grown, so it's like, I can go places by myself, like, there's no hazard there, really, and also, it's a place that I've never been before, and honestly, I've been wanting to go to Chicago for a while now, purely for the fact that it's, one of those major American cities that I just haven't been to yet. There are other major American cities like LA. I've never been to LA. I also have no desire to go to LA. LA does not seem fun to me. I don't know what it is about it, but LA just does not, it doesn't seem like a fun time. Because like it's just hot. Everything is spread apart. It's like a turbo suburb. There's like one giant suburb. Everything is spread out, right? Like I don't enjoy that. I don't enjoy the suburb vibe. I like things with a high density because, I can walk a mile in any direction and get to somewhere that I need to go. And if I don't get to somewhere that I need to go, then I'll get to, some form of public transit that will take me to where I need to go. I'm done with suburbs. I'm so tired. They're tired, they're played out, they lack the talent. There's nothing special about a suburb. Truly, nothing special about a suburb. I don't like suburbs. I'll say it. You can't walk in them. Everything is spread out. Everyone's yard is gigantic for no reason. And I've had it, truly, with suburbs. I don't want to live in one. Truly don't want to live in a suburb. I would rather live somewhere. Which, what's interesting that I've been thinking about, and this is probably not a unique or new thought, like, at all, but back in the day, I would say back in, like, I don't know if this is far enough back, but we'll say the 70s. Why not? If you wanted to live in the suburbs, you had to make, like, the shamoney. You had to make the coins to live out somewhere where your house can be on a lot. Which, I mean, that makes sense. You have a house that's on a lot. I feel like you should be paying more versus, the inner city urban areas, which were supposed to be cheaper. But now, for whatever reason, it feels like, actually, no, that's not even true. What I was about to say is not even remotely true because I'm thinking about it and it's literally not true. I was gonna say, oh, now it's more expensive to live in the urban areas and cheaper to live in the suburbs. And I don't think that's true because if you think about Jackson, right, which is it's a metro area, it's a metropolitan area, I would say it's definitely cheaper to live in Jackson than to live in any of the other suburbs. And yes, I would call the metro cities suburbs because that's what they are. They're glorified suburbs. I don't care. I don't care. If you're from Pearl and you're getting mad at this, go argue with your mom because I truly don't care. You're a suburb. Accept that fact, okay? Because like it is more expensive to live in like Pearl or like especially Madison. But Madison is like its own thing. Madison is basically just one big gated community without the gate. Like that's the vibe. If you've ever been to Madison, Mississippi, you will be able to confirm this. Like truly. Madison, Mississippi is one big gated community without the gate. That's how everyone acts. Like the vibes are way off. Clinton, I don't know, I'm trying to think of it might be around the same price, I'll say, to live in like Byram or something. But I don't even know where I got this notion from that was cheaper to live in urban areas than suburbs because it's literally not true. So I think I'm just thinking about living in downtown Jackson versus living anywhere else. Because as someone who did used to live in downtown Jackson, I was paying less than I'm paying now somehow. But also, my apartment was small, but it was smaller than my current apartment, which is like really small. Which I don't know, maybe they're comparative in size. I truly don't know. Neither of these places had the square footage listed when I was looking at renting them, so you know probably so you won't get turned off by how small they are. But pretty much everywhere else downtown, this fly is going to make me, oh my god, go away. Pretty much everywhere else downtown, aside from where I was living, is like mad expensive. So yeah. I've probably angered a lot of my viewership by saying the outer metro cities are suburbs, but to be clear, I don't care. You are. You're a suburb. Deal with it. Deal with that. Deal with that. The other thing that I wanted to talk about today, however, oh my gosh, I have to kill this fly because it is infuriating me. And now it's gone. When I actually want to see it, it's gone. Anyways, the other thing that I wanted to talk about is some music releases. And now my phone's on 10%. Oh no. There haven't been much recently. But what I can say is that Mirar recently put out, I don't know if it was an album or an EP, or if it even matters. Does the album versus EP distinction even matter to anyone? It's an EP. That's what Spotify is calling it. But they put out an EP called Mare. And I do like that it's the Caravaggio version and not the other version that I kind of like a little bit better. But the cover for it is Judith and Holofernes. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but you'll know what I mean. You look it up. But yeah. But also a lot of their music has used like classical paintings as the cover for it, which it's a vibe. But yeah. It's all instrumental though. Which I mean it's good, but I wasn't expecting it to be like all instrumental. So yeah, Mare by, did I say what it was called? It's called Mare, Mare, by Mirar, came out June 15th. Right smack dab in the middle of the year. It's about 30 minutes. It's an EP, and it's by Mirar, a Thal band that I greatly enjoy. So yeah, that's that. But if I were to have any closing thoughts, I would say I would really like if someone here in Jackson would start like a really technical progressive metal band. That's it. That's all I have to say. That's what I'm gonna leave it off on. If you're in the Jackson area, even if you're in the metro, if you're in the suburbs, if you're in the suburbs of Jackson, start a progressive metal band. Like really technical. The more technical, the better. You have to have at least one 10-minute song. Otherwise, I won't consider booking you. And that's a joke, mostly. It's mostly a joke. Or is it? We'll never know. Anyways, I'm so tired that I'm not making sense. Yeah, anyway. Follow me on Twitter. because if you're not following me on Twitter, say it with me. You're only getting half the story. And yeah, that's the episode for today. It's the 30th episode, big 3-0. And hopefully next episode I won't be wearing the shirt. However, if I am, I'm gonna try not to wear the shirt next episode. Let's just say that much. I'll try. I will try not to wear the shirt next episode, but I can't guarantee anything. But I will try. But I can't guarantee anything, but I will try. That's it. I have to go kill this freaking fly because it's bugging me so much. And now it hurt me talking about it, and now it's gone. It's so, fly. I don't like bugs. Whatever, I have to go.